I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. F it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
The point is, I don't need this right now. Okay? It's too late. I'm with somebody else. I'm happy. This ship has sailed.
This ship has sailed. Hey, y'all. This is Ryan and Brad. This is Talking About Them Cougars live from GoCougs.com. We're sponsored by Star Frickin' Pizza. Star Pizza lunch specials every day of the week, Monday to Friday. Great specials. Personal pizza and a drink for $8. You've got buffets on Tuesdays and Fridays. All you can eat, all you can drink for, I don't know, $13, $13.95, whatever they call it. Go get it. Star Pizza sponsors your favorite players, your favorite teams. They are about to ramp up the things they do with NIL, with U of H athletes. Check it out. Star Pizza, Brad Towns. It's 6 days.
I know. We've already got the week 0 out of the way. It's and I don't know now that I'm getting older. I don't know if I look forward to football season as much for the football or the fact that I know it's going to cool off in about a month and a half.
No, that's dumb. It's football. And
hey, you don't sweat gravy, okay?
But for the first time in 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, you have a real chance to see progress, to see growth on the football field. And hey, let's start it off with a real football coach who is going to lead you in the right direction, not the two yahoos that were here, the ship that sailed, and then the guy that's starting at South Alabama this week as head coach.
Yeah, I really am. It's been a long time. I'm really excited about this year.
Okay, we're going to start this up. Are y'all ready? Here he is. He's been a gorilla, a buccaneer, a bearcat, a mule, an eagle, a green wave, and now he's a Houston Cougar, Willie Fritz. Coach, how are you tonight?
I'm good. I just got back to the house, and my son was nice enough to set all this up for me, and ready to talk a little football with you guys.
Awesome.
Great to see you, Coach.
So how long was your dated? Yes, sir. You're great.
Great.
How long did y'all work today? I know the players had off, but how long did y'all go today?
I actually gave our coaches and everybody off yesterday, and we came in at noon and worked till about 5. So it's like I got, we're all workaholics, right? And especially in the coaching profession. But I keep reminding my coaches, I don't think UNLV's played a game since last year. So we've been working on it for about a month here. And we worked on them in the summer. We worked on them last spring. So there's really no new information to glean. But you just want to keep watching tape and crosses X's and dotting I's and crossing T's, right?
Yes, sir. So with so many guys moving from team to team with the portal, has it changed how you prepare for week 1?
Well, it has a little bit because you to get a little, you really want to know about the schemes first and foremost, what they're going to do offense, defense, kicking game. And we actually go back years and years ago with coordinators, and look at, what they did at their previous stops and how similar or dissimilar it is to what they're doing now. And then also, like they got two quarterbacks who, and then there's a third guy they're talking about possibly playing, but that's first game, right? Everybody, I got 9 quarterbacks here to play. They don't want to give us a clue. But they got a kid from Campbell University and a kid from Holy Cross. And we actually went back and watched quite a bit of film on them, from their previous spots and see what they do better, and one thing better than the other, and all those kind of different things. So, yeah, it's just nowadays you got a lot of tape you can watch.
So speaking of tape, and you're going to have digital tablets on the sideline this year. I know you're going to have assistants and analysts using that, but will you?
Oh, there may be time to time where I'm going to look at something, that I wanted to see exactly what happened. But from the most part, I'm going to be managing the game, and we've got guys assigned to that, and they're really the experts in that, and they're doing it every day in practice. And it's kind of a quick way to figure out, what kind of front they were running. Did the guy slant to the A gap? Was it a 4-man slant? Was it how did they combo up to the linebacker? Just little nuances of their offense, defense, kicking game, and those are the things you're trying to determine very quickly. I think if you rely on that too much, it's going to get you behind in the game. So we got some other guys that are doing that. And from talking to different people, it seems to be how most of us are going to be doing it.
Okay, Brad?
How difficult is it going to be for them to be able to prepare for U of H this week?
Well, same thing. Of course, I've got some new coordinators. Yeah, I'm sure they're watching a lot of Tulane tape, from last few seasons. And then Kevin Barbay was at Mississippi State last year, my offensive coordinator. Before that, he was at App State and Central Michigan. He's been a few places. I'm sure they're looking at maybe a little bit of that, probably making phone calls to people they know that might know me or Kevin or Sheil Wood, our defensive coordinator, and how we do things. So there's a lot of legwork that goes on during the summer in particular. And then, they're going to be researchers. I actually know their head coach pretty well, Barry Odom. Barry was I coached at a school called University of Central Missouri, just outside of Kansas City. And Barry was a high school coach in Missouri for quite some time. His brother actually used to come up to my football camp. His brother was a high school coach in Oklahoma, and I just got to know Barry when he was the director of football operations after he got done playing at Mizzou. He was doing that at Missouri, and then he got into coaching and was a D coordinator down in Memphis. And he came back up as the head coach at Mizzou, and then he was the D coordinator. A good buddy of mine that I went to college with, he's a fellow Gorilla, guy named Sam Pittman, is head coach at Arkansas. And Sam and I played together. Barry worked for him for a few years. So very good coach, great defensive mind. And, he did a sensational job last season with the Rebels.
They were unrecognizable last year.
Yeah, they really, I think their final record was maybe 9-4 or something like that. I don't know exactly what it was, but, they made it to the Mountain West championship game. I actually watched that a little bit today, again against Boise State. And, so it was a surprise. And that was Barry's first year, and he really made a positive splash for him.
So we have Anthony Gangi and Michael Batton on a little later. Neither has played a down for U of H on the field. Can you give us a scouting report on the two of them?
Well, I don't know how much I want to say. No, I'm just kidding. Anthony, has been here and wide receiver. I just put him on scholarship a couple of weeks ago. Great young man, hard worker, tough guy. I always I look at a wide receiver And those guys, the tough receivers are going to block you out on the perimeter. Some guys just want to run routes and catch balls. There aren't true team players. But here we're very fortunate that our guys understand the importance of blocking. That's how the wide receivers block. That's how you get 65-yard touchdown runs from the quarterback or from a running back or one of the other receivers. So they got to be very unselfish. And Anthony certainly is, and his teammates just absolutely love him. I announced his scholarship. We were having a NIL auction dinner, and I kind of tricked him. He didn't know what I was doing, but the guys just rushed up, and there was genuine enthusiasm and emotion for me putting Anthony on scholarship. And then Michael has, I read an article about him the other day, and I didn't realize he'd been in 5 spots before he came to the University of Houston. And he played quarterback. He's got great speed, great movement. He's up to 220 pounds. I think he's got a chance to, play after this season. If he has a great year for us, he's really good in the kicking game. He had a great season last year at University of Louisiana Monroe. Wanted to come home. That's really a big reason why we got him. And he's been very, very impressive.
Okay. Brad?
I got a question about recruiting. You're off to a flying start. You got out of the blocks early and making a lot of noise on the recruiting trail. I've seen what you've done in the past as far as building up programs, but you're not able to get the elite of the elite yet. But you're turning guys into elite players. What are some of the X factors that stand out? Because I think everybody can really tell who's the fastest, who's the biggest, or whatever. But how do you go about being able to project what a guy's going to be and be able to get that out of them?
Well, we've got a really good recruiting department. I brought most of them over here with me from Tulane. My son Wes spearheads that. I got another guy named Don Landome. Wes got 4 or 5 people working for him. That's all they do all day, every day is watch videotape. And you're right. We got to, hopefully we're going to start getting some of those guys that are, those 5-star dudes, and we're going after them. I'll tell you that much. But I just was texting a little while ago. My son showed me a picture of Tajay Spears, who played for us at Tulane, and he's a star for the Tennessee Titans, and he was jumping over a bunch of New Orleans Saints guys. And Tajay, we were his only Division I offer, coming out of high school. So, you got to find these guys, and then, with your strength program, the people involved in nutrition and your healthcare experts, your coaches. I'm a big fundamental technique guy. A lot of coaches they do a little bit of technique, fundamental work. We call it individual work every day, drills, EDD that you do, and we do them year round. I think it's so important. I feel like I believe I got 17 guys playing the NFL from Tulane, and 12 of them were their only Division I offer. And we're going to do the same thing here, but we're going to have more competition, which is all right. But we got a lot more to sell as well, with facilities and location and league that we're playing in. So I just feel like we're going to take a kid that's here. We're going to take him to here. If he comes here and he trusts the process and the program and listens to his coaches, not just football coaches, but strength coaches, and getting faster, and Kurt Hester's our strength coach, and he does a wonderful job in that facet of it. He actually was a guy that trained guys getting ready to prepare for the NFL Combine. He did that for about 8 years, and there's a bunch of guys that talk about how they wouldn't have made it in the NFL if he hadn't been the one training them. Right. And but he wanted to get into running a whole team, and he's got a super staff, and we got great facilities, and those guys. One of the great things about the state of Texas is the discipline that these guys already have entering our program. At other places I've been at, I've had to recruit the whole country, and they may not have had the attention to detail that Texas high school football coaches have when they're working with their student athletes. So a lot of these guys have had a good background, lifting, running, sprinting, movement. We do a hydration test on our guys every day. We body weight them every day during camp and twice a week during the season. We do this Biodex test on them, measure body fat, all those different kind of things. We have catapult units that really is a GPS system that we track on these guys. And we talk about these things every day. And I have my coaches go over with the student athletes in their position meetings every single day. I want the kids to know that it's important to us, so it ought to be important to them, Right. And then it also gets you to, hey, this guy's been, he's had 3 really high level workouts in a row. We need to back off on him a little bit, because that's when the soft tissue injuries are going to occur. And I leave that to the experts. We got a nutritionist. I have her talk to our guys every day. She eats with our guys every day at lunch. Emily England, she is awesome. And she's got her assistant, Lauren, is awesome. I've never had one nutritionist, much less 2. So we're just trying to get into the science of it as well to make these guys the best athlete they possibly can be.
Awesome. We have featured Kurt Hester and Emily England on our site and have enjoyed both. Coach, the Football Oversight Committee proposed eliminating the spring transfer window. Is that good for coaches? Is it good for players?
I don't know. I don't know. I try to stay out of all this stuff because they don't need my opinion or want it or anything else. I let them figure the rules out, and I try to, abide by them and follow them as closely as I can. But I don't see that happening.
Okay.
I think what's going to happen is they're going to do the 15-day one in December. The problem is bowl games. Now it's going to go all the way up until the 3rd week in January.
Yeah.
With people playing, and then there's that 15-day window after spring ball, where a kid gets to see where he's at, and a coach gets to see where a guy's at as well, and you can have some meaningful conversations then. So I don't know what's going to happen. I think they need to limit it, but there's a lot of people a lot more smarter than I am who are going to make decisions on that. I just think there's going to be some adversity at times, and sometimes you just got to fight through it. I tell guys all the time, man, you can only go to one homecoming. You don't go to 2. I'm going to go to Pittsburgh State's when I retire. That's the only one I'm going to. I'm not going to any other one. That's the only place I played at and graduated from, and all those kind of things. So I think all those things are going to start calming down a little bit. I don't think the NIL will, but I think the portal, they'll put some rules maybe that'll make some sense.
Okay. So last question. You said you don't have any hobbies, but do you ever allow yourself to get away from football during the season?
It was my hobby's my family, and I hang out with my family when I have free time. This weekend was, I had Saturday off, and I took my dog out for some long walks, and I enjoyed the Houston humidity. That was fun. Mm-hmm. And then we were in the pool watching the games, and I got one grandson that's living with me right now. They're getting ready to move here in a few weeks, and then we went down and babysat my other grandson while my daughter and her husband could go watch the Texans play. So other people might have thought that was work. I thought it was a fun weekend.
Exactly.
So it was. That's what I try to do is hang out. I work so much that you gotta be with family when you're not doing it because there's just so many hours in the day to do things. So I guess that's my hobby.
What kind of dog do you have?
It's a mutt. We always go get mutts, from the pound, save the mutt, and we've had quite a few over the years. My wife and I have been married a couple of years, and but it's really enjoyable. Just there's nothing more loyal than a dog, right? I come in every night; it's happy to see me. Every day.
All right, thank you, Coach Willie Fritz. We appreciate it so much, and good luck this week.
You guys have a great
Coach.
one. Cougs.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Okay, that was Willie Fritz talking up the Houston Cougars. What are your thoughts about what he said?
I can't help but it makes me smile to hear what he says because I know everything that he says is real. It's not it's not an act because, as much as he's been near U of H and being able to observe our program, he's been close enough for us to be able to observe what he does. Because we've heard the name come up in previous coaching searches.
Yes.
So he's a guy that everybody kind of followed, going from Sam Houston and then to what was it, Georgia Southern, and then of course Tulane.
Yeah, you forgot Central Michigan or Central Missouri in there.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's what he says he believes and he practices it. It's not a something that he's heard and he's repeating it and trying to will it into existence. I don't know, man. It feels weird to have this much optimism.
Yeah, well, that'll be beat out of you at some point, but yeah, it is different. Janet Jackson must be on tour with Towns in that old headset.
I don't have an old headset. That must have been from last week.
Oh, well,
we'll keep it anyways. I was wearing my big cans.
It's amazing. Thank you, Coach. Thank you. Look forward to the show. Awesome to hear. Great way to start the week. I agree.
Thank you.
Never uttered by the previous regime. Accurate. Willie had lunch with the UH defensive player Saturday at Star Pizza. Hope it didn't ruin the body fat test. Thinking we're going to work that out. Accurate.
Not that I practice it, but there are healthy options at Star Pizza. They even got gluten-free pizza.
That's weird. I love you, Star Pizza, but that's weird.
Well, they don't, and they have other dressings for their delicious salads other than ranch. Not that I know. I've seen it. I just never had it. I mean, what's the point, right?
Yeah. Thanks, Glenn or Gian. Sorry, don't have the glasses on. So we wanted to do an interview that was just a little different than what you've heard from Willie Fritz. He's going to answer all the game day questions tomorrow at noon. We didn't want to ask those questions. We wanted to try to do something a little different, get a little bit different information. And I think we did. We got some pretty good stuff from him.
Yeah, he's just an old school football coach that keeps it real simple in a difficult sport. And that's the thing about sport. We all make it a little bit more difficult than it needs to be.
Yes.
And he just seems to keep it real.
No, God. It's just weird hearing that from you. That's not what old people should say.
Man, I am getting old, but I still feel, until I get up and walk around, I still feel like I'm young. The minute I stand up and hear my knees pop and my back crack in 50 different spots,
it happens.
You know.
So Anthony Gangi and Mike Batton are going to be along in about 15 minutes, I think, maybe 20. We're going to keep going. We're going to talk some about U of H, about our expectations for this season. Brad, what do you expect? What do you see happening? You have more wins than I do. What do you got?
Well, we're going to a bowl. I'm not expecting it. I'm not going to.
Well, you just said it.
But we are. No, that's not my expectation. I'm just telling you what's going to happen.
Okay.
My expectations are, they really don't exist because I'm not putting any floor or ceiling on these guys because it is a work in progress. A lot of things got to come together. My only true expectation is to see the team develop and improve and have a noticeable difference from next week to mid-December when we're playing in the conference championship game.
I think you could make quite a bit of money betting that one. You should get on it.
One can dream. I mean, hey, why not us?
Yeah. I have been saying for years that what I want is to see that week over week over week improvement. And I always say September 1st, October 1st, October 1st, November 1st, December 1st. That's what I want to see. You see it from Kelvin in basketball every single year.
Oh, absolutely.
And last year was the greatest example of that, of how they just keep finding that next notch until the injuries kind of did them in.
Welcome to the Big 12. Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna. Yeah, they've already hung their championship banner in the practice facility. My expectations are a little all over the place. I don't have like I think it's about 3 wins. I think you could get to 4, maybe 5. Maybe you still won. We just didn't think you were going to win. But I see the improvement is going to come. I am fascinated to see what happens with the defensive backs. Like that's a position where I think you could have a lot of success, or, it could look closer to last year where you got rolled quite a bit. The offensive line has been a question mark since Dana got here and was gifted 5 pretty good.
The offensive line has been a question mark for 7 years.
Yeah. And I think there's talent there. I really do. I don't know. They've mixed and matched and kind of moved some guys around. We'll see how that works out. I'm comfortable with the receivers. I'm comfortable with the running backs. Losing Mathis hurt. Sherm Smith, I think that possibly hurts. I am fascinated to see the young guys, the true freshmen, if they play 4 games or whatever it's going to be, the redshirt freshman, Sanford, and then
I'm excited to see him.
It is fascinating to watch. There is another level that he has, and I think it's going to be a revelation for fans. It's going to be fun.
You can just envision that guy rolling through on a little screen and just hiding behind everybody, and then all of a sudden get a seam and kick and burn. And plus, I mean, he's of course he's a running back, but he reminds me of like a Greg Ward type, where everybody says, "Oh, he put up these massive months." I mean, you remember how good Greg Ward was in high school
at Tyler, yeah.
The massive numbers that he put up.
John Tyler.
Sanford did the same thing. His numbers were off the chart. It's not like he's playing like 6-man or something.
I'm going to tell you, 6-man is the most fun you'll ever have watching football. I love it. I did not discover it really until last year, and I was like, "Oh, what am I doing?"
I figured you discovered it whenever you were coaching your flag football team?
No.
10 years ago.
Playing flag football, way worse. That was when I realized just too old, just too out of shape. People would step on your feet and the whole thing would be purple for a month. I was like, what am I doing? So I thought that at 35, I thought that was the way to show. Nope, not for me.
I played co-rec in, God, what was it, in 19, I guess it was probably 26.
Okay, that's not near the same thing.
No, for a broken down, not slim person?
Pretty broken down.
Yeah.
So the linebackers, I think, are interesting. I love Jamal Morris. Just my favorite guy in the whole world. Mike Batton, I think you're going to be surprised when you see him. And then when people really get to know who he is and all the places that guy's been and how it's been such a winding road to get to a place. And I think he's going to start. And, he has been at Louisiana Lafayette and Houston Christian and Belen Junior College and junior college in Long Island, New York, and at Louisiana Monroe, and now here. I mean, he's been everywhere. And, we'll see. He may have even been at a junior college in Houston, if I remember correctly. But I am so interested to see what he has. Latravian McCutcheon, another one of those guys that we haven't seen, want to see. There's a lot of experience there in that linebacking, or not experience, but there's a lot of talent in that linebacking core. Not a ton of experience, and I'm in this program anyways. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that looks.
One of the things that that makes it so hard to predict and really kind of set any kind of expectations is because we know we have some really good athletes. We know we have some solid football players, but we don't know is the impact of a head coach and a coaching staff in a program that can get the most out of that talent. It's something we hadn't seen in a long, long time at U of H.
Yeah. Did you put up the expectations? Is this what you put up in a minute ago? I don't know. Expect to win 6 games? Don't have a clue. This is, in reality, we should all be here. We should all think, it could go this way. It could go this way.
It could go a lot of different ways at the same time.
Yeah. But Willie has done some things. I mean, the last time he was in this stadium, he won a game with a third-string quarterback.
Yeah.
That kid, Kai. I don't remember his last name, but I remember his name was Kai. Is that what it was? It was from Corsicana, I think.
It was either a true freshman or a redshirt freshman.
It was a true freshman.
Yeah.
And poor Dana. That was the day that Dana screamed at fans and the ESPN cameras caught it. Oh, well. Not missing that one this year.
Not our problem anymore.
Yeah. What do you guys think the strength of the offense? I think the strength of the offense is the receiving core, but I don't know if passing the ball is going to be the strength. I think Jonah Wilson is going to turn heads this year. You know what you have in Stephon Johnson. You know what you have in Joseph Manjack. Mekhi Muse, number 83, who Gangi is like BFF with, I think he's going to surprise some people. Very small guy, fast, explosive. I think those are the guys that you're going to see that are your strength. Now, you need a quarterback to be a strength to get the ball to them. But I am so interested to see these running backs catching the ball out of the backfield.
Yes.
And I just forgot about this, but tight ends. tight ends will be a strength of this offense. You're going to see them do so many different things. They're going to go into the slot. I've seen them, instead of having guards and tackles pull, they're having tight ends pull to make blocks just because their footwork is faster.
They can get downfield.
They can get downfield. And then they're running routes that you've just never seen tight ends. I've never seen tight ends run. So and I think there's actually some real talent there. And you've got Jaden York and Malik Carr, and then the freshman Frederick from rural Louisiana. Cedric Melton was moved there this week from offensive line. He changed from number 76 to number 86. So I figure he's going to do some blocking out there. I don't know if he's going to, go out for passes, but I do expect him to help in that side. On the defense, I think it's going to be the defensive backfield. I think. But give me a week and I'll let you know what I really think. Because I think we're going to have a lot more understanding of what you have after just one game. I don't think we really know with this team. I think it'll be 3 games. Usually I'll say 2. But this team, with so much being new and what they're going to do experimenting with different guys, I think you need 3 to know what you have. Brad, what do you think?
I don't think we'll know what we have until really November.
All right. Come back in November and we'll talk about it.
No,
thanks, Brad.
No. I mean, we don't know what we really have. We're going to get an idea of the guys who are going to fit, guys who are going to stand out, guys who can produce. But I don't think we're going to have anything definitive early on in September, October. I think it's going to take a while for it to really solidify. And the back half of the schedule looks pretty good. You're muted.
Shut up. Has anybody talked about how Willie Fritz caused the D'Eriq King transfer? There is a head coach that caused that, but he's not on the sideline at U of H this year. Now, Willie Fritz did have one of the coolest, funniest endings to a game that weekend in New Orleans. The fake kneel down and the throw to the sideline, and then the pass, and then what he did in overtime here. I mean, he gave it to Dana twice. Pretty good. He did it to
pretty good.
Did it to a lot of people, but yeah. So not blaming Willie Fritz on that one. I had mixed emotions about D'Eriq King last night. I was obviously rooting against SMU just because of the hilarity of how funny it would be for them to go to Nevada, to the Mountain West, as a big, shiny new ACC member and blow it. And I wasn't impressed with the quarterbacks from SMU, but I found myself thinking, well, I don't blame D'Eriq King in this. I blame Dana for changing the deal. I mean, the guy had 50 touchdowns in 10 games the year before, and you just throttle him back. Poor D'Eriq.
He didn't just throttle him back. I mean, he just
cut his head off. Yeah.
I mean, I don't care what anybody says. I always liked D'Eriq King. I liked him as a player. I liked him as a guy. I hope he does well. Does well.
That'd be great.
He was. I mean, that kid could run. He could do it. I mean, he could launch it.
Yeah,
go back and
look at
that highlight. The highlights from his first junior year or whatever.
Okay. I mean, you're talking about the 2018 year, right?
Yeah.
The last year of major.
Yeah, the Kendall Browse offense.
Yeah. I am enjoying it so far. We'll see We need to schedule the guests closer together if we're going to do guests, because this is weird. The guys had an event tonight. We were totally cool with them, but they'll be here shortly. After everything, I'm still a big fan. I like that. So in terms of this game this week, we don't know who UNLV is starting at quarterback. They have been flipping between two guys. Willie mentioned there was a third guy. I have not heard anything about that. But obviously they've watched a lot more of this than we have. The fact that he said they went to Holy Cross Video, and I forget who the other one was, but it was like, oh, crap. That's looking behind every stone. And the weird thing is you don't do anything like that starting week 2. But for week 1, you go all over the place.
I think it's just fascinating to get a look inside of how detailed they are.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just another example. It's just one of those things that you just, that you file away and just see how much detail they're putting into everything that they do. It pays off in the long run because it's all about doing it every single day, every single year. And, that's when it pays off. I mean, that's exactly what you saw out of Tulane.
Yeah. Sampson and Fritz on back-to-back podcasts. How about that? Look at us.
We're very fortunate.
We really are. We have had such great cooperation from the SID, the communications office. Andrew Pate runs the football side. Jeff Conrad on the basketball side. Those guys have been awesome to me personally, but also to our website and for our content. And now that we have all of this access with Willie and Kelvin, I mean, you just can't ask for anything more. And, that has to be coaches wanting to do that, but also has to be communications people saying, this is where we need to go. And this is why this is good for you. And fortunately, U of H has both. And now maybe we can live out in the light a little bit so that you get to know these guys. I mean, it's the craziest thing is that when you tell the story of players, people connect to that and they want to support that. And then they buy tickets and season tickets and give money. And crazy, I know that no one would have done that in the last 5 years, but
well, I mean, think of it this way. In the football team alone, you've got 100, 120 stories to be told.
Yeah.
Every single
one. We're trying. Yeah. I mean, you're about to hear 2 that are so far beyond what you would ever expect to hear. But this is the fun thing about covering this program is that it's not 5-star guy went to every 7-on-7 AAU tournament in the country. It comes from money. That is not this. And you're gonna hear some really cool stories throughout this year. I think we've told a lot, and I am fascinated by that part of it. On the field is super important, but it's the off the field, telling the stories that nobody else has told or that people just don't know. That's where I really get excited, and I am so interested in that. Let's touch on this for a second. So you had Isaiah Harwell here from Pocatello, Idaho, this weekend. I think this football staff is pretty confident they have him. They think he's going to commit. I believe I read that he's going to make the announcement around September 12th. But I think they feel really good about him. Now, no predictions, nothing like that, but the connection they've had, I had the chance I didn't technically meet him, but saw him when he was here, I believe, for Kansas in March. I mean, he in all the video and everything I've seen he's a real deal. And I didn't know recruiting rankings or recruiting stars went up as much as he has, whatever, a 98 or 99 rating. That seems pretty good.
Not bad. At least from what I can tell. What are you doing?
I'm reading. Blue collar, not blue blood, for sure. Yeah. Jorge Alberto, strength coach. I did see this.
Yeah, I thought that.
I did not. I have not asked anybody about this, but I will. And I've never heard that. I've never heard. And I think that the rules have changed on who you can bring and who the school can pay for. And
really?
That might have had something to do. Well, I think it was a year ago, but I'm not 100%. And so I think that might have something to do with it. And I mean,
right.
If it would have helped, they should have flown the entire town of Pocatello, Idaho, to Houston. I mean, not my money. So, but yeah. I think they feel really good about it. Nothing's done till it's done, and you figure you're going to get one great year from him.
Heck, nothing's done until
you got to get it signed, and
campus.
then in class, and then on campus, and then end of the season. And okay, Michael Batton is joining us. What's up, Mike? Gangi's late. I don't know where he's at. Let's get it together, buddy. There we go. About time.
There he is.
Yeah. Anthony, are you there? Okay, maybe not.
Running some technical difficulties.
Yeah, usually that's me. So glad to see that sometimes it happens to other people.
He's got to make a cool entrance, like WWE style.
Yeah, maybe. He ejected. He'll be back in a minute. Mike,
hold it down for the both of us.
Yeah, you're gonna do it. So I want you to start off. Give us like a 1-minute summary of your story of how you went from Seven Lakes to U of H, circling half the globe.
All right, yeah, I'll try to do it in a minute. Might prove difficult, but
yeah, just to name the schools.
Yeah, coming out of Seven Lakes, I just wasn't recruited that well. I'm not really sure why. Could have been a few reasons. I just maybe wasn't your stereotypical quarterback. We didn't have much team success until my senior year, and by then, a lot of my interest was already kind of out the way. So the best opportunity I had came, I want to say, in April. And it was a walk-on to University of Louisiana Lafayette. They asked me if I wanted to play receiver or safety, and I felt like I'd just stay on the offensive side of the ball. So I committed. I enjoyed my visit, but after just a couple weeks of being up there, I just felt like I had a different calling, and I decided to walk away. And I did that before enrolling into school, and kind of went home for the summer, worked mowing lawns and stuff like that, and decided I'd go to school over in Blinn and just take the year off and kind of figure things out. And during that year, I kind of realized that, I wanted to play football, but I wanted to give quarterback another shot. And I just didn't know where to go or what to do. Honestly, I was a little overwhelmed, but I knew I just wanted to get in a program and kind of get my life back together. And so I had the opportunity to go to HBU because I had a friend that was transferring there from Texas Tech, and he told me, he'd put in a good word with the coach, and it was close to home, and it just made sense for the time. And it was a lot of quick decisions, but we made that decision, went there. that was during the COVID year. Unfortunately, I didn't really find much success there. I was kind of jumping around rooms, receiver, quarterback. Finally got in the quarterback room, officially, and wasn't getting reps in the spring. So, right after the spring, I decided I'd hit the portal and kind of start new. And luckily, 2020 didn't count against my eligibility. So it was almost like it didn't happen. I learned a lot, though, and that kind of helped jumpstart my career. I would say it was right after that. It was kind of like the rock bottom. Like I said, I wasn't getting any reps, and it was very humbling and humiliating experience. I'll be honest, but I realized I can play. I just, sometimes it's just about your opportunity, and so I took a shot in the dark. My dad has a friend up north in Chicago that knew about this Nassau Community College. Went there, did well, got a scholarship offer from Wagner. Due to an NCAA rule called the 4-2-4 rule, I wasn't able to be eligible until that following spring, and they wanted me, to come compete during spring ball and get used to their system. So they ended up pulling my offer and gave it to someone else. So I just kind of left, with nothing again. I thought maybe I'd go JUCO one more year. I still had 3 years left of eligibility, but eventually, somewhere in late March, ULM came calling, and I guess they've had their eyes on me since high school, as an athlete. But one of the coaches there, Coach West, had always had his eyes on me, and he was over at ULM at the time, and he just said, "Look, we'd love to have you as a walk-on athlete. I feel like you could help us out on special teams." And I was just like, you know what, let's just do that. I'm blessed to just keep playing the sport I love and do it at a Division I level in the Sun Belt Conference. I think that's a great conference. One thing led to another. I ended up second team that year, and by the last 3 games, I ended up getting the start because the guy in front of me got hurt. Had a really good last 3 games. Accounted for over 30 tackles in those 3 games, and then got put on scholarship that December. Came in the next year, bigger role, and led the team in tackles. Did really well. And felt, with the staff getting fired and ULM kind of just imploding that year, that I'd best hit the portal, and found success in the portal and landed here at Houston. I couldn't be more blessed. I I didn't plan for any of this to happen. Obviously, it just kind of was like, I want to get my life back together. I want to get back into football, and I want to get my life back together. And the only way I knew how to really do that was to play football. And so that's kind of how that started. And it really started at HBU. Although I didn't find much success there, that's where it started, and it landed me. Crazy to think I was at Houston Baptist, went to New York, then Louisiana, and now I'm back to the real, UH or Houston College, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Okay, Anthony, we've run out of time. Thank you so much for joining us. Just kidding. Just kidding.
I said that's about as quick as I'm trying to, paint a picture here, but that's about as quick as I can paint it. I mean, there's really so much more, but I hope I didn't.
All right, so Anthony, we just got his 1-minute story of his life.
Mm-hmm.
Give us your story. You came from Long Island. Michael ended up there. You came from Long Island down to Houston. What's your story? What's your backstory?
So my backstory is really like, well, so sophomore year, IMG Academy, just got the opportunity to go out there and start just see like what Florida football was going to be like for me, and just trying to take everything in. Got unbelievable like connections as far as friendships, and just was like a year to just soak a lot of things in. For me, my junior year, I was going into my junior year confident like this should be like a good year. Junior year for everybody is like your most important year of high school, and I'm just like thinking in my mind, what should I do for my junior year? Should I stay? Should I go back home to New York? And I really wanted to be with my family, so I was like, made the decision in my mind, like, all right, I have the opportunity to go back to New York. Let me just go be with my family my junior year. And I ended up getting hurt my junior year, knee injury and my meniscus, and didn't get an opportunity to play. It was really rough for me. And thinking in my head, like I really had aspiration of playing college football and didn't know what I wanted to do as far as like my senior year because I knew New York is not going to have the, publicity that I need as far as from a football standpoint, just getting recruited and getting looked at. I knew that that wasn't going to be the place where it was going to happen. I was thinking that I'm going to have to go back down to Florida. And so I went back down to Florida and was talking with Coach Roger Harriet at St. Thomas Aquinas and also Coach Patrick Surtain at American Heritage. And it's a crazy story. Like originally I was going to end up going to St. Thomas, but something like I was there and something with credits from New York didn't transfer, and then the principal was like they were doing it with other students. They've done it in the past, and she was like, "I'm not doing it because of football with the credit transfer or something." And it was just a situation didn't end up working out. So I ended up going to American Heritage, which was unbelievable experience, like such a first class program school, like just really take care of their student athletes, and they've produced a lot of top talent. And I was thankful for that opportunity. And going into week one, I tore my meniscus again. Just running routes after practice, like just running a go route and just hyperextended my knee and heard a little like pop or something. And I was just like, no way. And I lost my senior season. And at that point, I really didn't know what God wanted for me. Like I had aspiration of playing college football, but just in my mind, I'm thinking, like maybe this is not what God wants from me because I really just ran out of all my eligibility to get, an opportunity to be a scholarship player at the next level, which was my dream. And so I really, really struggled. I thought I was going to end up going JUCO, but I got the opportunity to meet Dr. Steve Lawson, who is a great preacher and pastor. We sat down and we had a conversation, and he played at Texas Tech as a quarterback, and he told me, hey, like I'm on the board at Reformation Bible College in Orlando. I think you should take, a foundational year and just get your head in a place with the Lord. Just really ask God what He wants for you, and really like just recover and get your body in the best shape possible. And if He wants you to play football, He'll make it obvious to you that you need to play. And I was like, okay. So I took that leap and went to Reformation Bible College and was studying the Bible. And the first semester went by and nothing with football as far as like hearing from anybody or anything. But I was training every day. I was training about 6 days a week, taking like the seventh day off. And I the second semester at my Bible college, I was sitting in there and basically cleaning my voicemails out because I was just cleaning my emails, cleaning my voicemails out, and I found a voicemail from Coach Roger Harriet at St. Thomas Aquinas from a year prior, saying, "Hey, we're upset that you didn't get the opportunity to come play for us at St. Thomas, but we had such an unbelievable like connection with you, and we'll always be here for you if you ever need help with recruiting or anything. Don't hesitate to reach out and give me a call." So the second semester of Bible college, I was like, oh, I'm gonna give him a ring. So I gave him a ring, and he was like, "You still want to play?" I was like, "I really do." And so he had me do some workouts, and just we talked, and I sent him everything that he wanted me to send him. And after like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I got a call from Coach Eddie Gran at University of Kentucky, and he told me that he believes that I have the ability to play, and he was like, really close with Coach Roger Harriet, and he was thankful. He was like, I think it would be unbelievable if you came here, and he gave me the opportunity. He took a shot on me and gave me a preferred walk on, and I was really still like, even after that, I was so thankful. I was so taken back. I was like, no way, from Bible college. Like, how would this even happen? This is definitely the Lord. I wasn't sure if I was gonna stay at the Bible college or go, even because things were really good for me there. Like my head space, everything was good. I ended up taking the shot, going to Kentucky after a semester, after a season. I was there. It was good, but it just Coach Eddie Grant had gotten fired from the OC spot, and I don't know. I just ended up thinking that was the best decision for me at the time to enter into the portal and going back to Florida. And I just trained that whole semester and God got the opportunity. I got the opportunity to play. God gave me the opportunity to practice that whole spring with a bunch of players that were in the NFL, like Jarvis Landry, Singletary, these guys that were in the league, and I was just practicing with them every day. Like they were doing their NFL offseason, and I just wasn't on a team. And the portal was a mess because of COVID, and there was a lot of scholarship players that were in the portal, and people weren't getting taken because the problem is everybody got an extra year of eligibility, so people really didn't have roster spots. So it was a really sticky spot to be in the portal, and so it wasn't gonna look good. It wasn't looking good. And so I was just working out with these guys, and after working out with them for like 4 or 5 months, they're getting ready to report back, and they were like, "Damn, he's still not anywhere yet." Like they were like, "Well, take all your the highlights you had at Kentucky, like your practice tape that you did really well with." They were like, "Take all that," and like they came together as a group, Jeff Okuda, and they were like, "Hey, we want to talk about like our experience with you, and then we think that you should take that and you should take up the cut-ups of our voices and put it behind the video of like your highlights from your practice tape, and then post it on Twitter, and we'll all repost it and say that you entered the portal." And so I did it, and they did it, and it got like 150,000 views in like a day. And then from there, like Dikil Shorts reached out to me about an opportunity to come out to Houston, and it was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And my friend Ruben Unije played tackle here. He convinced them. They were like, "All right, we'll work them out at 6 o'clock in the morning." This was like a week before the season, because they didn't know if they really wanted to bring me here. It was a whole thing, because I don't know. I think maybe they thought that they had another walk on. There was really only one spot or something. It was really late, before the season started. And so he convinced them to work me out at 6 in the morning. And then they were like, "Yeah, we'll work him out. If he's in the city, we'll work him out at 6 in the morning." And I was in Florida, and I took a 4:30 flight on Spirit Airlines the next morning and flew in to work out. And they were like, "We don't even got to work you out. We have a spot here for you. We like the way you move and everything like that." And I just was thankful. I just took the opportunity and just never looked back. And I'm here today.
So you said that your dream was to get a scholarship.
Yes, sir.
You got that a couple weeks ago. Willie told us just a little bit ago that he kind of tricked you in this thing. What did that all happen? How did it go for you?
As far as like the scholarship, getting the scholarship?
Yeah, the whole awarding of the scholarship at the.
I think it was like so just surreal. I would say it's so surreal. Like I got the opportunity, so it was like earlier in that same day, I got a call from Kelly, and he was just say, "Wanted to invite you out to Let's Talk Football tonight." And I was like, "Okay, like it sounds great. I'll be there," And I got the opportunity to go there, and obviously, like I knew, like, I was the only walk-on that got invited to go to that event. I'm thinking like that when I go there, like it's just gonna be a great event. Just talk about football. I love to talk to people. Like it made sense. Like I was thinking in my mind, like I'm gonna get to communicate with people and build connections. I look at everything as an opportunity. I was really like optimistic about it. I was happy that I got that opportunity to be invited there. Felt very grateful. And I was there, and he just did. He was introducing the staff, the O staff, the D staff, and he introduced the offense, and he called us up there, and he introduced everybody's name but mine. And then I was kind of sitting there like, he said, "Did he forget anybody?" And people were like, "He forgot Gangi," and I'm just sitting here like, I guess he forgot my name or something. And he's like, "Come on up here." And I'm like, "Why is he calling me up here right now?" So I'm trying to figure. My mind's racing, like 1,000 miles an hour, like thinking about like, well, like why am I getting called up on the stage right now, like And he's like, "Introduce yourself," and I'm like, "Anthony Gangi," and then he's just looking at me and he's just telling me, "Hey, we're gonna put you on full scholarship." And I don't know. In that moment, I was just like, that's just been day and night, something that just been working towards for a really long time. It's just something like every walk on, never knows like if that's something that they're going to be able to hear or not. It's just such a blessing. I'm so thankful, So it was just a crazy experience, like just very surreal. It was just, I don't know how to explain it. Like, it's just really hard to put into words. It's really thankful.
That's cool.
It's awesome to hear.
Y'all were both walk-ons. You both are on scholarship now. Michael, you're on scholarship, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're both on scholarship now. Batton, I asked a lot of defensive players a few weeks ago to give me somebody that's under the radar. And a lot of them pointed to you. And they said he's athletic, he's strong, he's fast. Somebody called you a genius on the field. Instinctive, you make good decisions. What do you think about your teammates saying those things about you?
Well, of course, I'm very thankful for them, and shout out for them, the ones that said that and see that in me. And I think it's just a testament to, the hard work that I put in and how I go about things. When I came in here, I want to be a leader, but I'm not necessarily the type to come in loud and just trying to make my way through my voice. I tell myself I'm gonna do it through action, and I'm gonna show them every day that I know what I'm doing, whether that be in the playbook, in the weight room, and me, athletically. I want to show I'm the most athletic. Well, I want to push myself to that limit and show that I can be one of the most athletic on the team. I want to show I can be one of the smartest on the team, and I want to show that I can be a great football player. And I think all that work I put in to make that happen behind the scenes is just beginning to show on the football field. And I think it's just a testament to the work I put in, and I'm glad it's finally starting to show. And like you said, I am under the radar a bit, and but I like it that way. I love the underdog story, and it makes sense. I'm under the radar. I came out of nowhere as a quarterback. Now I'm a linebacker, and so hopefully, I can change that this year.
Cool.
How does one go from quarterback to linebacker?
They say, "Hey, you're a linebacker now." Is I think how it goes.
Well, I mean, it just it. You were talking earlier that that people were going to look at you at receiver or defensive back. Those are natural progressions, but you don't hear about many quarterbacks that transition to linebacker.
Yeah, I thought it was strange too when I heard linebacker, and in fact, they told me middle linebacker at the time. I'm 195, 200 going to ULM, and I'm kind of thinking like linebacker. But the thing is, the game has changed a little bit, and linebackers are smaller. And in the linebacker position I did play that first year was called the will, but over at ULM, he was more the will position was more of a safety / linebacker. So you could play that. Ideally, you want to play that position at 210, 215. I was still undersized at the time. I played at 205 that year. But, it's really a testament to my dad growing up. He was a defensive outside linebacker. And growing up, I always played linebacker and quarterback. And he took it very seriously. We watched film growing up, and we were very successful in our elementary days. And honestly, I was always better at linebacker than I was quarterback. I won Defensive Player of the Year in 6th grade for my league. I didn't win, offense. I was good at offense, but, defensively, I was always really good. I just happened to make the switch to quarterback full time in about 8th grade. This is kind of what our school team needed. But, going, back to linebacker after all those years, it was just a mindset switch that I had to, go back to. But overall, I think it was an easy switch. It was natural. It's something I've been doing since I was younger. And like I said, my dad has instilled those defensive tendencies in me. And making the switch was easier than I thought it would be. And, once I put the weight on, it really wasn't an issue. And it's proved to be successful.
Hey, Gangi.
Yes, sir.
So we asked you to do this show for one reason. Watch this.
Great.
All right. So last question, but besides the two of you, who's the funniest guy on this team?
You want to say it on 3?
Anthony Gangi. Anthony Gangi, Dane Tucker. Who else is funny?
But
Matt
Gangi,
Barnes.
like
I find Matt Barnes hilarious.
Gangi's on another level. Like
Yeah,
that
Ganji.
there.
Ganji. He could be a comedian. Like he could do anything. Like
Could be a comedian. Could do anything.
Yeah.
Why are they saying that?
I
That man is definitely funny.
Yeah?
Very funny. I don't know if he gonna show it though for y'all.
Yeah, you're not showing it much, but
really
I'm waiting.
What it is just like I just playoff situations, I think we laugh, I like to have fun. I think like it's important to have fun. I think it's important to be focused and you'll burn yourself out, if you're monotonous about so over uptight, so super like serious about every little thing. I like to have fun, like laugh, not when people think have fun, people think about a lot of things like have fun. No, I'm thinking like have fun, like we're gonna laugh, like we're gonna have a good time, walk in the locker room. If I see somebody drooling on themselves, like I'm gonna let you know, like the whole locker room probably gonna hear that, you're drooling on yourself. I'm gonna be like, you're I'll be like, if you're sleeping on yourself, you're gonna know, like we have fun, man. We just mess around, I just play around. Like I was coming in, all my hair was all messed up. I was struggling, and our coach, our wide receiver coach, we were talking about, like if you get a haircut in fall camp, like you're not to be trusted. And so we had like some teammates
Wait.
get a haircut in fall camp. Like, what are we doing, man? We're out here, we're grinding for fall camp, and you're out here, you have other priorities besides football that are pulling you away, and so you need to get a haircut, get cleaned up. Like, so you're not as bought in as us, so we're breaking each other's chops, and we just constantly, we constantly have fun, and it's just a great atmosphere to be in. This team is just so amazing, man. Out of all the teams that I've been a part of, this team is something special. As far as just like, well, I mean, we're one, man. Like I don't see a lot of jealousy. I don't see a lot of envy. I don't see a lot of, it's just it's a family vibe, and it's awesome. And we have a good time. We joke around, and so I have a lot of fun with these guys. We have a lot of fun together, with York and Jack and Burns and Jet, and we mess around. We just have fun. Like it's hard to say. The more you're around, you'll see. I'm not gonna just make things up, but as they come, you'll see. We have fun.
No doubt. No doubt.
Michael, I want to ask you about a couple of guys. Give me just some kind of short answers. What did defensive players think about Anthony Gangi?
Man, definitely outgoing. His personalities. I mean, we all kind of feel like his personality is just contagious. He brings a smile just around the room, and Ganji has himself a few phrases that he should trademark, but I don't know if I should really say them out loud.
Okay.
But everybody knows it, and just very outgoing and brightens the mood and brightens the day, and that's very important to have in the locker room. And I feel like he brings people together, because you got offense versus defense, and there can be a lot of stuff built up between the two, but he's kind of like a gateway between the offense and defense. He's friends with everyone on both sides, and he kind of brings us all together, and I really appreciate that, and gotten a lot closer with him, in these short 6 months, and he brings. I feel like he brings people to God, and I think that's very important too, and brings faith, and it's got me closer to God as well.
Okay, what about on the field?
Quick, sneaky, disrespectful. He got the hands. Just the overall, pretty destructive player with the ball in his hands, and I mean he's mudded some people on some routes in one-on-ones, and I'm surprised they don't have videos of this. But I mean, even in the spring game, poor Chris Davis, but he kind of mudded his situation up a little bit. It wouldn't have mattered who it was. It just happened to be Chris that day. And, he's continued to do that through fall camp. He's a precise route runner. Everyone knows that. And he's got good hands. And those are two most important things receivers need.
Okay. Tell me about Jamal Morris, both the person and his game.
Well, as a person, Jamal is just a person you look up to. He's almost like a father figure, even though, we're about the same age. But he's just very mature, and he handles things very calmly. And he's very serene and just overall just someone that you feel like you can lean on and you can go to war with. And as a player, I mean, people call me a genius. A lot of times I'm looking to Jamal for help too when I'm out there. So I would say when it comes to the mind, I think me and him are up there in the same level. He knows what he's doing. He's in the playbook. And, he's a smart football player too. He's played safety and he's got that experience. He's been at Oklahoma and now he's at Houston. So I think as a player, he's very experienced, very intelligent, and is always going to be in the right spot. And he's obviously going to give his all. And he's another great leader for our defense for sure. I'm very excited to play alongside him, and I love him like my brother.
Gangi, tell me about Batton, the player.
Yeah, Mike. First off, I want to say I appreciate you, man. It means a lot to me because I respect you. I respect you highly as a player and as a man too. So it means a lot to me that you spoke to me like that, man. I really appreciate it. I think Mike is a really smart player. Like, I think there's a lot of people out here that are athletic. There's a lot of people that can move, but between the ears, Mike's smart. He makes up for when other people won't make a mistake. He makes up for it. He's quick. He thinks quick. His communication skills. When I'm on the field with him, just I can hear him communicating while I'm running my route. I can hear him communicating. If he's gonna pick me up and I'm in the slide and he's gonna pick me up, he's letting them know that he's gonna pick me up. And he plays the game really smart. He plays the game fast. He's physical. Yeah, he's really everything that you would want in a linebacker. He's really gritty. Like, he has a chip on his shoulder. Definitely not complacent. He goes hard every single day, and I mean he's consistent with it. He doesn't just like show up, every other day or every now and then. Mike shows up and he works, and we all really have a high level of respect for Mike, and even in a very short period of time, he's earned a high level of respect from his teammates, not just me.
Thank you, bro.
Absolutely, man.
Who's your favorite receiver to watch?
Like, just in general?
Sure. I mean, who do you pay attention to? Who do you like watching?
Oh, I mean, I've been watching Julian Edelman and Wes Welker like crazy.
I'm sorry, your teammates. Sorry, your teammates.
My teammates. Who do I like to watch? I love Makai's game. I love Makai's game. From the way he thinks about routes to the way he can break defenses down, the way he moves and makes adjustments on the fly. Like, I love the way Makai plays the game. I love the way Manjack plays the game. Manjack plays the game fast. He's always playing fast. Manjack plays the game amazing. I like the way Boog plays the game. I watch all the guys. I watch all the guys in the room. I watch them all. They all have different strengths. Then everybody has different strengths than others, just based on size. Some a little taller. You have more top end. A little shorter. A little bit more explosive in and out of routes. Kind of just pick up from each. Hey, I see this. This is really good. I could probably use that in this route, and I see that, and that's really good. So I look at it from a perspective of like appreciation, but also like, okay, what tools can I add to my bag to help me become more of an efficient route runner and an efficient and more effective player.
Awesome. So Tim says he was sitting next to you at dinner, got chills watching your teammates' reaction when you got your scholarship. Incredible moment and best of luck. I think people are really excited to see what you bring. Like they've heard these things. They saw the spring game, your performance there. Mike, don't know as much about you, but curious how this is going to play out. Y'all start up tomorrow morning. Breakfast at 5:30. Is that what it is?
Yes, sir. I can.
Cool. Well, thank y'all so much for being here. We appreciate it. We're going to check y'all out down the road, but thank y'all so much for coming on with us tonight on Talking About Them Cougars.
Yes, sir. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Anthony. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it, guys.
Happy to be on, guys. Appreciate y'all.
All right, man. Have a good one.
That was pretty fun.
Like to hear it, man.
Sometimes I worry if guys are going to talk. Did not have that problem there. Really liked
it's great
how they were.
It's interesting to see the paths that a lot of people take, what it takes to get here.
Yeah.
A lot of times you just see, it's just linear. You just go and you play well, and then coaches show up and just start throwing scholarships at you. And for a lot of players, that's not the case.
Yeah. I didn't know the depths of Gangi's issues. I didn't realize he had that same injury twice. I didn't know that it was that difficult for him to get here. And those guys had COVID too. And that threw everything football wise into the air. And so you just didn't know how things were going to play out. All those guys getting that extra year took up those roster spots, took up those scholarship spots. Huge issue for a lot of guys in that 2021, even 22 class. And so you're starting to see these guys in the transfer portal come to different schools, and they're really good players that they just didn't have the spot, or they fell out a little bit. Isaiah Hamilton's one of those guys. He was here last year. He played at TSU, came to U of H, is now at Ole Miss. He kind of got lost in the wash at Channelview. And it's hard to do that at a school like that, but he did. And, I mean, that's a good football player. And Anthony Gangi does not have the size. Mike Batton now has the size for that weak side linebacker. I am so interested to see what happens with him and Gangi and probably 15 other guys on this roster that we've really never seen play in a U of H uniform.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, thank you for adding an to that. We appreciate that. Great stuff. They were fantastic. We appreciate them so much. So tomorrow we start with practice. I believe we get there at 8 o'clock. Then we have Willie's weekly press conference at noon. I expect us to get the 2 deep then. We might not. But and then you have practice Tuesday and Wednesday that we'll be at. Thursday, Friday, they're closed. And then Saturday you play. I am so interested in how this week looks. What you got?
When you said Thursday and Friday they're closed, I was like, the school's closed?
Yeah, no, just football. They're just shutting it down for 2 days, get healthy, and then the practices are closed. We don't get in them, which is fine.
That's right.
Will be nice to have a couple days not going to U of H.
This spring and this summer is more access than you've been granted
the entire time we've done this.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've done it in one way or another kind of for 20 plus years and never had this. So do appreciate it a lot, and appreciate Willie coming on the show. Appreciate Batton and Gangi coming on the show.
Yep.
And then last week, all the guys, we had 5 different players. We'll have more next week. Last thing I want to talk about tonight, college football playoff talk. All you hear from every single person that talks about college football is, who do you have in the playoff? Who do you have in the playoff? Who fucking cares? It's August. Stop talking about it. We have, I mean, you have 12 games to play. Can't those matter still?
Well, I mean, it feels different this year only because you're talking about more teams. Now, previously, you would only talk about a handful of teams that were going to.
Yeah, but I don't think it's. I think it's the same as it was a year ago and 2 years ago. That's all they talk about.
I know, but it's gonna stay that way, and it's gonna ramp up even worse because previously it's like, okay, you've got Bama and Georgia, maybe Clemson. Then is it Ohio State or Michigan? Now it's, now you've got literally 15, 16 teams you could talk about making the playoffs. What was that?
Nothing.
Okay. I thought you broke
problems. It. Yeah, well, might have. But it looks like people are still here.
Now, going back to what you were talking about earlier, these player interviews, this is what gets me excited about doing this here with Go Cougs, because we want to know about the players. It's everybody can see the stats, everybody can see the video. It's awesome to see the players and get to know the personality of who these guys are as people, as opposed to what they do on the field.
Somebody texted me.
That was a lot of fun.
Somebody texted me a few days ago, and they were praising me, and it kind of made me, it makes me feel a little weird. And they said that I have a tenderness and a curiousness when it comes to players. And I don't know about tender, but I am curious. I'm so fascinated about their story and where they come from, and then how they see other players. And right. We have gotten a chance to ask those questions over the last 25 days. Or now it's probably 30 days. And so, we have been at almost every practice. We've been at every availability that we've had. And hopefully our coverage has shown that there are these great stories out there. Mm-hmm. So GoCougs.com all week long. We're going to go crazy. After the UNLV game, we're going to be back here with Katz, Anthony Jones, Brad, me, maybe others. Who knows? I don't think we'll have players on that show, but you never know. Do you have anything left for tonight?
Yes. This week, everybody, it's your duty to make sure you prepare correctly. Make sure to carb up at Star Pizza.
We haven't talked about Star Pizza in a bit.
You gotta be prepared with energy, with enthusiasm, and I can't think of a better way than do it with Star Pizza. By the way, I had their fettuccine Alfredo, rosemary chicken, and I think I need to have it again today. By today,
that sounds fair.
Tomorrow, when this is replayed.
Yeah. We love it. I'm going to be there probably a couple times this week.
If the Godfather eats it, it's got to be good.
Yeah.
Because, you can trust me because, trust the taste of a fat guy. But then again, I eat a lot of different things too.
Yeah. So Star Pizza, 3 locations, Katy, 59 in Shepherd, and in Washington at Harvard. Lunch specials every day of the week. I'll be there this week in the evening. They're doing NIL stuff with your favorite athletes. We appreciate them. We appreciate what they're doing for players, for our show, for Andy and Chris and their show. They're just doing a lot. They are making it happen so that we can provide more content for y'all. People are saying really nice things about us. DA, the CEO of Sac Avenue. People saying nice things? Yes.
Yeah.
Accurate. Loving these shows to wrap up the weekend or start your week if you're watching this Monday. So that's going to be the show for this week. Thank y'all so much. This was, again, a lot of fun. And, we get to do these really cool things. We had Kelvin Sampson last week, Willie Fritz this week, 4 football players, Galen Robinson, a high school recruit, a quarterback, Austin Carlisle last week, You can find it all on gocougs.com. You can check us out. Subscribe to the website. We're going to do a lot of subscriber-only content going forward into the season. You're not going to be able to just get it by clicking on the website. So that's going to be subscribers only. There's good deals right now. Check it out. GoCougs.com. Bradtown's other way. And I'm Ryan. Thank y'all so much for doing this. I don't know what that was. Here we go.
I can't do it. Okay. We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. F it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.